This tennis player is driving with his legs, but it's a waste of energy because the timing of the drive is all off. Not only are his legs not helping his serve, but they're actually hurting his results. Let me show you why, so you can avoid this costly mistake and improve your own serve. Before we dive into what this player is doing wrong and how to fix it, I want to show you what the best players in the world are doing with the timing of their leg drive on their serve. We're going to do a cool little analysis here that I've never seen anybody else do before. Focus in on this. I think this is super important. We're going to put up a timer at the moment that Novak's feet leave the court surface. So right there, he's just leaving the court surface, and I'm going to put up a stopwatch, a timer. And first, we're going to calculate how long he's in the air before he actually touches down. There's the touch right there with his foot on the ground. So he's in the air for 1.36 seconds. And now we're going to back up a little bit and see how much time elapsed when he made contact with the ball. So there's the hit right there. And you can see that 0.5 seconds has elapsed between when he left the court and when he actually hit the ball. And the entire elapsed time for his entire serve motion, where he was in the air from loading with his legs and driving up and pushing up into the point of contact, was 1.3 seconds. That means that at contact, he is not even halfway through his full flight, if you will. He's pushing up towards contact, hitting the ball on the way up, and then touching down well after contact has been made. Let's do that same analysis quickly with Iga. So we're going to pause the video right when she leaves the court, right there, and put up a timer. Then we're going to check how long she's actually in the air. So we'll stop the timer first when she touches down right there, 1.4 seconds. Interesting that it's very, very similar to Novak. And now we're going to back up to the point of contact and look at how much time elapsed when she actually touched the ball. So there's the point of contact right there. And at the point of contact, less than half a second, again, very, very close to Novak, had elapsed, significantly less than half the amount of time that she was physically in the air, which means, again, she's driving up, hitting the ball on her way up, then peaking, and then coming back down again after contact has been made. This is a critical principle to understand about the serve. The whole point of loading with the legs, the way Iga is right here, and then driving up and pushing up towards the point of contact is to transfer energy and force in two different directions. Notice that from where she leaves the court and where she touches down, she is pushing her whole body forwards. That's one direction that she's transferring energy, but she's also producing a tremendous amount of vertical force by pushing herself upwards into the point of contact. That upwards energy is critical because the net is blocking the path of our serve. You'd have to hit the ball from 9 feet off the court in order to hit the ball directly into the service box without hitting the net. So we need to produce some lift and we need to produce some curve and some shape. And this drive of the legs up and forwards is a huge part behind the actual physics, the energy that is required to transfer our momentum up through the point of contact and give the ball the clearance we need over the net, and also draw it back down into the box on the other side without it going past the service line. All right, now back to my student. This is such an interesting contrast. We're going to do the exact same analysis. Watch how we're going to pause when his feet leaves the court right there, and we're going to put up the timer, and let's see how long the total amount of time is that he's in the air. So he touches down right there. So 0.26 seconds is his total amount of time in the air. And now we're going to check out where was contact. Well, he just touched down on the court, and the ball has just come off his racket. If we go back to the point of contact, it's only one frame back, which means that he's making contact right before he touches down. Both Novak and Iga made contact while they were still actively ascending. They were still driving and pushing their momentum up into the point of contact. This student, and I mean, we just use like the stopwatch method to show this, but it's pretty obvious to see by just watching his head. Watch his head, and you see this bar right here that's part of the fence here. I'll just leave this line right here. Watch how he's initially going up because he did drop down and he did load energy in his legs, and he is exploding upwards and propelling his body upwards. And watch how his head is going to get up to the line, but then watch how he's coming down now, down, 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 and now he's hitting the ball. So my student's momentum is actively pulling downwards as he hits the ball, which means this is going to make it dramatically more difficult to make a good serve because he's got active momentum and energy falling down towards earth as his racket is hitting the ball, and that makes the trajectory into the box much more difficult. Not just because he's going to be hitting the ball from a lower physical point, but because his energy and momentum is actively traveling downwards towards the earth, which is going to pull the ball downwards as well. Stack these things on top of themselves, and hitting a hard serve in the box is dramatically more difficult than it has to be. Using what you learn in this lesson is going to make your tennis serve easier. And if you want to make the whole rest of your game easier too, make sure to go to tennissecret.com and pick up the free training that I have that will show you how to upgrade your strategy to make the whole game of tennis easier for you and harder for your opponents. The way we're going to do that is by upgrading where you stand, your positioning on the court, where you aim, and what patterns you use during your points. There's super simple adjustments that you can make in your very next match to make the game much easier for you and much more likely that you're going to come out on top, even against players that you normally lose to. This coaching is absolutely free. All you have to do to pick it up is go to tennissecret.com. So how do we actually fix this? At the root, the problem here is there's a mistiming between when my student starts to drive and unwind his body and push off the court surface towards contact and where the ball is in space. So in other words, here's his original serve, the one where his timing is just super, super late and he's on his way down as he hits. As he pushes up and he reaches the peak of his push right about here, is the ball ready to hit yet? Well, the answer is no. The ball is way too far away from him to physically hit. So he's gonna end up on the back half of this push with his legs, and he's gonna end up being on the way down again after this push by the time he hits the ball. So another way of saying this is the ball is just physically too far away. He's doing a good job of loading. He's doing a good job of driving up towards the point of contact. But when he gets up to the peak, the ball's not ready to hit yet. So what we need to do is take some height out of the toss, maintain his rhythm and tempo, and that way the ball is going to be ready to hit earlier in the process of him actually pushing up towards the ball. So I want you to notice the top of the fence here and watch how much higher than the top of the fence this ball goes. It almost leaves the field of view here with the camera. See how much distance is between the ball and the top of this fence? This is his original serve. And now after explaining this to him and kind of unpacking it and just explaining like the relationship between the height of the toss and like the timing of his drive, he goes to try this. And I want you to look at the difference now in the height of the toss. This time the ball only goes like a foot above the height of the fence. And so we've taken about a foot out of the height of the toss, and he's still gonna drive up and hit the ball, but now the timing's gonna be very, very different. Watch this time, watch the top of his head relative to this bar across the fence, and look at how when he goes up to contact, his head is going up, 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 and there's the hit. And then he starts coming down. This is awesome. Let me show you the analysis with the timing. It's really interesting to see. So here's when he's physically leaving the court right there. He just left the court. We'll put up the timer. And then let's see how long he's actually in the air. There's him touching down. Exactly the same as before, 0.25. And now if we back up to the point of contact, there's him touching the ball right there. And you can see that he's at 0.1. So less than half. That means that his energy is actively now transitioning and transferring upwards into the point of contact. Not only is he going to hit the ball from a higher physical location, but now he's got active momentum traveling up into the point of contact, which is going to help him clear the net and also bring the ball, drop it back down into the box on the other side. The bottom line here is we need the correct timing relationship between the push and the drive of the body and the location of the toss. And if there's a mismatch between when the body is driving and where the toss is and when it's ready to be hit, then our body's momentum could actually be working against us. I've seen this a lot of times with students over the years. I hope this is super helpful for you. It will make your serves easier. If you want to make the rest of your game easier too, make sure to go to tennissecret.com and pick up the free training where I'll show you how to make the game easier for yourself and harder for your opponents by positioning yourself in just the right spot and aiming for the right targets and using the right patterns so that you can unlock improvements and beat the players that you're supposed to beat. Thanks so much for watching today. I'll talk to you again soon.